piece I've written for this evening is called A Love Letter to the Unsung. I told David it was 7 minutes, but it's really closer to 8, but I'll read fast. I don't know what David's salary is, but hypothetically speaking here, if he works an average of 70 to 80 hours a week, not counting the odd annual budget proposal or 5-year prospectus written at his kitchen table in Yarmouthport late on a Sunday night, it is probably a safe bet to assume that he is underpaid. Not that he is complaining. It is a primary fact of your average 501c3 that everyone goes the extra mile. The 40-hour work week is a fantasy, and certainly nobody's making bank. Here in the theater, if you amortize the stipend they receive, main stage directors earn an average of $4.67 an hour for their trouble. Woo! Stage managers get about $2.91, and perhaps most notably, all of our actors get nothing. A role in a main stage show is equivalent to approximately 172 hours of community service. Now you might argue that singing and dancing and acting on this stage is a privilege and not at all akin to collecting trash in the breakdown lane. But as someone whose family this year alone thus far has happily contributed 1,107 volunteer hours to our theater production, I can say that it is indeed a privilege, but also a labor of goodwill, and I have actually collected trash in this theater. This is not even an above and beyond kind of contribution. We are in great company. Similarly, impassioned volunteers build our sets all year long. Docent in our gallery, perform on our stage, usher for shows, clean up the grounds, set up and break down our events, serve on committees, serve on the board, serving oysters at entertainment tonight. This year alone, we will utilize almost 30,000 volunteer hours. This organization runs on an army of small-time philanthropists. If I had money, and I don't, since I work for not one but 2 nonprofits, I would plunk down a big fat tax write-off tonight to fund a need. Invest in some lavalier mics for our actors, build real dressing rooms, heat the basement, rehearsal space, say, even acquire an empty elementary school up the street to house our classes. This is my family's second home, and in the same way that I daydream about granite countertop in my kitchen, I imagine the expansion of the center, the possibilities of this vibrant campus. It is our 20th anniversary next year. Could the center have imagined itself in 1995 something other than that funky little garage behind the coop on Main Street? Imagine the scope of our programming, foreseen the 2,000 and then some members, predicted Brian Gutenberg in our gallery, Judy Collins on the stage. Imagine goddamn drink coins! Envision a cast of 30 for our production of Annie this December. We recently auditioned 51 little girls. When asked if they were interested in a specific role, every girl aged 6 to 14 wrote Annie. They sat in this room with their moms and their dads and nervously waited for their number to be called. Number 5 sang every verse of the heartbreaking ballad Maybe from the show. So did 29 other. Numbers 19, 22, and 37 sang It's a Hard Knock Life. The rest sang predictably the song Tomorrow. And one, number 29, kid sister to number 28, the littlest of our auditioners, sang Tomorrow. We had her sing it twice. Now these kids stood on this stage and sang in front of an audience of their peers and parents, mostly strangers. Truth be told, not all were great. Some had trouble keeping a tune, others struggled with tempo. A few forgot their lyrics. A couple cried after they left the stage. One girl was visibly shaking and stared at the floor when she sang. It is hard to describe the expectation and fear and longing in this room. Some of the kids had trouble with our accompanist because they had rehearsed on their own, a cappella, in their bedrooms back at home. Practiced for hours in front of their mirror. These kids were so brave. Some of their parents had to leave the theater, so taut was their tension. If I had my wits about me that day, I would have opened the bar. Other parents clenched their fists and silently mouthed the words along as their kids sang. It was beautiful and horrifying. Like the script spelling bee or Olympic ice skating. Would she hit the note? Would she remember the words? Would she nail it? But when each girl finished singing, the room erupted into raucous applause and cheers, which had nothing at all to do with the caliber of her performance. Each kid stumbled back to her seat and was high-fived and hugged along the way. You were so good. Great job. That was awesome. And in this age of Idol and Honey Boo Boo and so you think you can sing, there were no judges in these seats. Just a bunch of kids rooting for each other. I stood at the back of the house with my producer clipboard and a lump in my throat, and I cried for the guts and hard work of these kids. And felt so very grateful for this safe place for them to come to and take a shot at being a star. Take a shot at contributing 172 hours, free for nothing, to the success of our next production. Which, of course, brings me to our mission statement. The arts are essential. Our mission is to be a welcoming hub for K-12 artists, for performers and students and audiences working together to make a creation experience for accessible, nurturing, and friendly. Repeat the first part of it with me, please. The arts are essential.
The arts are essential.
Our mission is to be a welcoming hub. Every year I extol this place on this night. Stand here and try to tell you what this welcoming hub means to me. Michael and I got married on this stage 3 years ago. We celebrated my folks' 50th anniversary here in June. Our 5-year-old was in her first show here this summer. This center is a place of milestones for our family. Also, what this center means to our community. By the end of this year alone, 2,000 kids and adults will take a class or a workshop here. 1,300 individuals will perform on this stage. 250 artists will be featured in our galleries. 3,000 people will tour our exhibits. Like 2 people will actually purchase art. 2,650 people will participate in our outreach programs. 17 or maybe 18 people will see a movie in our free film series. 25,000 people will attend an event here. All told, 34,218 or 19, give or take, will have been served in some way by the center by the end of 2014. With a staff of just 6 full-time people. Actually, 7 because you have to count David twice. A part-time staff of 9, also 36 teachers, 100 odd production and technical specialists, not to mention the 30,000 volunteer hours I talked about like an hour ago, which equals almost 15 full-time unpaid staffers. Also, lastly, and perhaps most crucial to this conversation, 4 bartenders. So clearly, we can make the creation and experience of art accessible, nurturing, and thrilling. But you make it possible. It takes a special person to understand the value of a place like this in a world where STEM is the hottest acronym and arts funding is the latest joke. I'm not sure how to convince you to bid high and bid often tonight, to go beyond membership and become a donor, a sustainer, an angel. But we need the center like we need stoplights and grocery stores. The arts are essential. Come on, not to the center, we're not getting hammered to kill ho. We're crying into our chowder at the next iteration of the goddamn regatta. Wishing there was something better to do and get to it on a Saturday night, also a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. Do it for Katuit. Be the big-time philanthropist or open your arms, your checkbooks. What better investment than the nifty art center in your own backyard? Consider this your second home, or for many of you, your third home. Maybe it's the cool clubhouse you wanted as a kid, the college you didn't get to attend, the sweet spot that makes the winters here bearable, the safe place that you can come to and take a shot at being a star. The sun will come out, folks. Bet your bottom dollar. Just know that you are welcome. Each and every one of you. You are so very welcome.